A pleasant evening to you, Guyana. How are you doing? I'm happy to be in the land of the living, and I trust you also happy to be in the land of the living. Nevertheless, I want to welcome you to Let's Talk with Annette for tonight, Tuesday, the third day in the 10th month in the year 2023. And it's always a pleasure when I can come in studio to share, to educate, and to enlighten you as to what is happening in our country. So, once again, welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk with Annette. I also want to extend happy birth anniversary greetings to those of you who are having a birthday today, whether you had one yesterday or early up in the week and also later down in the weekend. So, a blessed, happy birth anniversary to you. And to those of you who are also celebrating a wedding anniversary, allow me also to take this opportunity to wish you the very best and may you grow together in love, in oneness, and with respect and every other positive elements that God has ordained marriage to be. I also want to take this opportunity to extend deepest condolences to those of you who might have lost a loved one, a friend, a colleague, or some, body close to you. May their souls rest in peace and rise in glory. I don't know how I would normally forget to, shout out to my viewers there on the social media platform. I also want to take this opportunity in welcoming you to another episode of Let's Talk with Annette. And I trust that you will take this opportunity to share the live so that others can be notified and be informed as to what is happening in our beautiful nation called Guyana. However, let me take this opportunity also to apologize for not hosting a live program last Friday. Last Friday I was really geared up, well prepared, everything was well set for a live program last Friday. But the People's National Congress reform, we're currently celebrating the centennial anniversary of our founder leader, the late Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, who was born on the 20th day of February in the year 2023 to 2024, or 2023 rather. We're celebrating his centennial anniversary. And we have so much planned, to celebrate or to commemorate his birth anniversary. This is a special, when you reach 100, so many things go with you or after you. So last Friday we had a symposium at the University of Guyana, and that was held in the Education Lecture Theatre, known as the ELT for short. And that program commenced around 4 o'clock, and we never end till about, I think it might have been close to 8 o'clock. So it would not have given me, good time to get down here to host my program. But, with the kind heart of Aunt Eve here at HBTV Channel 9, she has graciously afforded me this evening to have this program done. So on Friday, because tomorrow I should have my, regular program too, Wednesday. But on Friday, I will do tomorrow's program on Friday, God's willing, right? And God's once my life is spared. So um, kindly accept my humblest apologies for last Friday. And you missed out if you weren't there. But I know the activity was actually streamed live across the APNU page and also the People's National Congress page and some other pages we have on social media. So we had presentations were done by um, Mr. Vincent Alexander, AA. He did an overall presentation on boredom, and I think it was something to do with the eagle eye, but it was a well thought out presentation. You learned so much as a youngster. I really learned a lot. Were done Dwayne Benjamin, the University of Ghana. He's a lecturer at the University of Ghana there in the Faculty of Social Sciences. And his colleague, Dr. Dwayne Edwards, he too had, he was a part of the panel discussion. You had a number of questions were put from those who attended there, but it was a pack out lecture theater. So if you miss it, you really, really miss a wonderful time. But once you can go on to the social media page, I think the PNCR page and also the APNU page, you'll find the broadcast there. So I encourage you to just go there and locate the presentation. I think Channel 9 also on Sunday, I think Sunday morning, if my memory serves me accurate, they too had a rebroadcast of that program done. So if you miss it on Friday, I guess on Sunday you were able to see it. Moving down the line, I just want to remind each and every one of us that continuous registration continues. We're in a new month. It is the third day of October 2023. And the last day for the culmination of this exercise will be on the 30th of November 2023. So practically you have like probably a month and couple days remaining to get that child, get that youngster, get that ageable person who is 18 years and over, never had a national identification card. Please ensure he or she gets registered. And as I have been explaining at length, program after program, the process is simple. The process is simple. If there's any difficulty and you need assistance, I'm here at your service. I'm, easily accessible. So there's no need for you to have difficulty locating me. Any one of my colleagues, you can also visit the offices of the People's National Congress across the regions, and or any leader within the respective regions if you're encountering any difficulties to get registered. So please, in a few days from now, we will be heading to home stretch. And as I said before, they having a national identification card is not only for voting purposes, but it can allow you to transact so many personal business. So the onus is on you. The onus is on you to get registered. Again, if needs be for assistance, please reach out to us, reach out to me, and I will be at your service. Tonight's topic, I have here, I don't have a guest. Sometimes it is good when you got some hot topics. You just want to go alone because you got to beat left, right, and center. But tonight, I wouldn't be beating left, right, and center. But basically, it's to, you know, uh, bring home the point and also to alert you as to what is happening in our beautiful nation, Guyana. So this evening, I wouldn't be talking anything about the 214 million US, because that indeed will be a header for me. Gotta keep at it, gotta keep banging, and also I think the book Destiny to Prosperity by my colleague, the Honorable Raphael G. Trotman. So I will continue that discussion on Friday. So I need you to sharpen your beak and be ready and prepared to hear what I have to say and share on Friday. But this evening, I'll be looking at three critical issues. But the topic that I have, the topic that I've given these three issues is PPP stopping at nothing. PPP stopping at nothing. And I know many of you will agree with me because we have recognized what is actually happening in this country day in, day out, month in, month out, time coming, time going, and the People's Progressive Party Civic in changing their way of doing business in this country. So the three issues I want to touch here this evening, well, I got probably, it might be four, because I must stick in, I got to keep cost of living at the front burner of things. And I did promise on previous programs that I was going to do a comparative analysis, of where prices for certain commodities were pre-August 2nd, 2020, and where those very commodities, prices for those very commodities are post-August 2nd, 2020. So you can really get an appreciation where our nation is concerning this high cost of living and what this government is not doing to address this problem. But it is important for me to remind each and every Guyanese that Budget 2023, we had for the relief measures, one of the relief measures, they have a provision of $5 billion dollars passed in the National Assembly on the 3rd of February 2023, where Mr. Ashney Singh, you got a lengthy portfolio, so sometimes I don't want to get tight-tongued, so let me just call him by name, but we all know who Mr. Ashney Singh is, right? Announced in the National Assembly that this $5 billion dollars will be disbursed across communities to households to address the high cost of living that the nation is currently faced. And I can tell you, every single thing passing that budget, I just keep an eagle eye on it. And once I see things moving, I just start asking my questions, my curiosity to start opening. Because I'm a part of the process that allowed for the passage of taxpayers' money. And by right, if I don't see the monies being expended, I have all right to inquire on behalf of the people as their legal representative where these monies are, how these monies are being distributed, when are they going to distribute this money. So as at August 10th, 2023, mere hours before we went into recess, I put several questions concerning this $5 billion YNC sharing out and start distributing to know where we are. And in response, I was trying to get the verbatim, the records from the National Assembly, but the Hansard department, they haven't completed that as yet. So I'll try to see if I can get it for next week's program, or if possible for Friday. But just to quote directly what Mr. Ashney Singh said in the National Assembly, but I will, put it in small context to say that the monies, according to Ashney Singh, they have not yet been disbursed. We are now in October, the month of October. The month of October, to be precise, the 3rd the third day in the month of October. And still, these monies have not yet been dispersed. The National Assembly comes out of recess on October 10th, which is a couple of days, 7 days from today, sometime next week. And believe you me, it seems as though whenever we go back from recess, we will, these questions are going to continue to be asked because the monies have not yet been disbursed. And people are suffering out there. People are suffering out there. Just in yesterday's Tabloid News, I think, because Tabloid News continue to bring reactions from Guyanese with regards to the high cost of living that they're confronted with in this nation. So a number of persons, a number of Guyanese would have given their views and opinions, what they're actually experiencing. And this uncaring, this selfish regime seems not to have a plan, a proper strategy, how they intend to combat this high cost of living. I mean, the explanations that we get sometimes, the Iran and the Ukraine and the Russia war had some impact on our economy. Why that might be so? At the end of the day, when you look at things being grown right home here, plantain, $200 a pound, $260 a pound, Edos, $400 and $300 a pound. What poor granny would need a little Edo to boost her blood count? She won't be able to buy Edos at $300 a pound. That is what is happening. I remember you could have gotten Edos sometimes 2 pounds for $100, 3 pounds for $300. Now Edo is 1 pound for $300. So things grown right here. Chicken, for example, $600 a pound. Just last week, I had to inquire from the gentleman. I said, man, what really going on in this country? The man was like, madam, it's not me, it's the supplier. And he started to give me certain explanations. The cost for feed is now $7,000, close to $7,500 per bag. So I could imagine what, those persons who are rearing livestock and so forth, what they gotta go through. But at the end of the day, the government must be able to find some way, some measure. We know our economy, man. So take some of that money and pump it into, small scale businesses to help business people, to help poor people in this country. But it seems as though this government has no plan. The next point I want to move to, the next issue rather, I want to move to is that of Project Award. Project Award in this country. Things have really, really changed in this land. And sometimes in my quiet moments, I would ask, am I really living in a real country called Guyana? A beautiful nation created by God, given to us. But it seems to me that everything, whether laws, whether structures, whether systems, people have no regards for them. We have a procurement act. Is not the coalition bring this act into play? This act is in existence since in 2003, some 20 years ago. Act number 8 of 2003, some 20 years ago, signed by the very man who's enjoying his 4th term as president of this country, Mr. Bharat Jagdeo, on the 28th of July 2003, when this act came into law. And the Procurement Act is very, very clear. It is very, very clear. This is an act where government agencies, whether semi-autonomous agencies, the ministries, they have to comply if they're seeking services or goods and services from suppliers, they must be compliant, and also these suppliers must be compliant with the procurement laws of this land. But just last week, or before I go to last week, you would notice that since the coming of this regime into office, Tom, Dick, Harry, Paul, Duck, Chicken, everybody getting contracts. And when you look at the history of many of these companies, they haven't been in existence for 5 years. They haven't been, for a minimum of 5 years, they haven't been in existence. But how can a man form a company in 2022? In 2022, probably just under a year, because I'm trying to see if it was August of 2022. I can tell you as when. Yeah, August 4th, 2022. Just under a year. And was awarded a contract in the sum of 865 million Guyana dollars, close to $1 billion. Now, and what is the project? The project is to construct the construction of the pump station and Bellevue, West Bank of Demerara, at West Bank of Demerara there in region number 3. Yes, this particular document has been making the social media wrongs. So this, based on what the act is saying, yes, and this is the character, I think, who is one of the directors of this company. But I'm going to read a letter today. I think it was done by my colleague today, yeah, dated October 3rd, 2023. And the letter is addressed to the chairperson of the Public Procurement Commission, 262 New Garden Street, Queenstown, Georgetown, Guyana. Dear Madam, Pump Station, Bellevue, West Bank, Demerara, region number 3. A contract for the construction of a pump station at Bellevue, West Bank, Demerara, region 3 was awarded to TEPU Group Inc. on August 14. You hear? August 14, 2023. The procuring entity was the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, NDIA. I know all them old people with all them previous CEOs and DCEOs and managers who they had. Since August 2nd, they bring back everybody. So the gentleman who used to once head this particular unit, NDIA, Mr. I think is Woodworth or Woodford or something like that is his name, right? He has returned since August 2nd and heading this particular entity. And if you're to conduct your research, you will find the corrupt practices, the corruption under this particular entity pre-May 2015. Just go do your research, right? Drainage and Irrigation Authority, Ministry of Agriculture. I write seeking an investigation into the award of this contract on the basis that the contractor was not eligible for the award. The tender process was conducted by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, NPTAB. The details of the tenders and awarded bidder are as follows, right? Project description. We know it's the construction of the pump station at Bellevue West there on the West Bank of Demerara, Region 3. It gives the reference number 166-2023-21. Procuring entity is the Ministry of Agriculture, NDIA. The number of bidders, there were 26 bidders that bid for this particular contract. And the awardee is this TEPU Group Inc. The award sum, as I said before, 865 million plus Guyana dollars. Date of registration. I want you to listen to me carefully, viewers and listeners. The date of registration. What does this mean? When the business was registered. This business, Tempu Inc., was registered on the 4th of August 2022. 4th of August 2022. And the registered office is somewhere in Hatfield Street, 78 Hatfield and Breeder Streets, Working Ross, Georgetown, Guyana. Right? So, and the list the principals. The principals, the directors, some Winston Martindale, Paul Rodriguez, Michael Rodriguez, some Sunil Bagwandin, and some Francis Akoram, right? Who is the secretary. I'm continuing to read. The technical requirements of the bid documents require the successful bidder to have successfully completed projects of a similar nature and size within the last 3 years. Now, if this company, viewers, only came into existence on the 4th of August 2022, we now in 2023. Now tell me, which 3 years experience they have? They don't have 3 years experience, right? Tempu Group Inc., having been, and I've just made mention of that, established in August 2022, do not meet these requirements. However, were still awarded the contract. Please find attached documents and articles that are in the public's domain. I would be grateful via the PPC, that is the Public Procurement Commission, if an investigation can be conducted, and should the award prove defective, that the necessary actions be taken against the entities and individuals associated with this award. Yours truly, David Patterson. And this was, it was copied to commissioners of the Public Procurement Commission and also to the CEO of the Public Procurement Commission. My brothers and sisters, I have decided to share this bit of information with you so that you can have an appreciation of what is happening in our country. Tom, Dick, Harry, favorites, friends, and families, even the chicken in the pens, seem to be getting contracts at the expense of us taxpayers, which is unfair. Now, if this company has failed the requirements according to one, the Procurement Act, secondly, the criterion that was actually a part of the bidding documents, no way this company should have been considered. But you know what? These people just don't care, because it's either their way or no way. And when we in the opposition get these bit of information and we share it with you, the people, they try to discredit us. They try to call us all sorts of names. But you know what? We will continue to expose the many wrongs that are happening in this country. And you, the listening viewers, you, the Guyanese public, you must be able to decipher for yourself whether you want a PPPC government come 2025 or you want to see them out. But for me, I believe in the latter. I want to see them out. And if I want to see them out, then you should have that attitude, because they're not doing us any justice in this country. The more you talk, the more you expose these people. They just don't have no shame. They have no shame. So this is what is happening to taxpayers' money, going to friends, family, flouting the laws of this land. And And that is why we're having many defective projects. It is as though, I don't know, when you turn so, you turn here, you turn there, you look so, you look back. It's projects all around this place. And I know, serving as a minister, I had the privilege to, we know the capacity of our people. That's why many projects were either lagging or the projects couldn't commence because why? The capacity wasn't there. When you go to cabinet meetings or you had the meetings with the permanent secretaries and the technical staff to look at the PSIP. The PSIP means the Public Sector Improvement Investment Program. PSIP, Public Sector Investment Program. All the monies that were passed, the projects that or the programs we had earmarked, and so, we used to, I think just 3 months or I think 6 months after the budget, we used to review, ask the technical officers, question them, why is it that, the projects aren't moving? Why is it that the projects stalled? Why is it that, the projects haven't commenced? To get those information, to see how best, what advice from a policy decision we could have given to them. But it seems as though this government, they ain't care about the PSIP, they ain't care about no IP, but all they're concerned about is to ensure that they continue to dip their hands into the cookie jar. They continue to flourish their friends, their families, and their favorites at the expense of us, the taxpayers. So I trust that my honorable colleague David Patterson will get the appropriate response or responses to his question or questions asked, because I recall this is not his first letter to the chairman of the Public Procurement Commission. Some months ago, he wrote to the chairman asking her to investigate a particular company that was blacklisted, I think by the IDB and also by the government, the then government, the people's, the APNU AFC government. But when these people came back into government, because the company and companies, they have been blacklisted for, I think some of them till 2025, 2024 and stuff like that. But what we found happening is that these very blacklisted companies are now getting contracts. The honorable member wrote to the chairman of the Procurement Commission. I don't know whether he got a response to his queries. But this is what is happening. The lawlessness in this country, the flouting of the laws, right? But we will continue to watch, we will continue to agitate, and we will continue to expose, to bring these things to your attention, the public. The other issue I want to turn to has to do with this constant blackout. This constant blackout. And I have to go to, bear with me a bit, viewers. This constant blackout. And we know that the People's Progressive Party, they like to throw blame and cast blame at the feet of the APNU AFC to give you, the viewing public, you, the Guyanese people, the impression that the governance of this country started on the 16th of May 2015. But no, we had a government pre-May 2015 for 23 years who messed up the power company, who messed up GPL. And it took the coalition government less than 5 years to start fixing the deficiencies at the Ghana Power Light Inc. Every day is blackout in this country. They promise us reliable and stable electricity. And since, a couple days ago, we're experiencing constant blackout. So this is what, and I remember my colleague David Patterson writing to the editor when Mr. What's his name again? the prime minister, I don't even remember his name, Mr. Mark Phillips, had a lot to say. Blame the coalition. We didn't maintain engines. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. We didn't do the tariff. Far from the truth. Now, if we didn't do all these things, why is it that during the coalition's tenure, Guyanese weren't experiencing frequent blackouts? I wouldn't say they weren't blackouts. They were. But at least we weren't getting it as we're experiencing it now, because we had started to put the pieces together. And I want to share this little note. It might be a little lengthy, but I want you to understand the substance contained therein. And this is I'm quoting from my brother David Patterson. And he had to pull up this letter that he did to the editor some months ago, over a year ago to be precise, on May the 27th, 2021, so 2 years ago. And this is what he shared last week. He said, I am reading the crap being peddled by the PPP, claiming the coalition did nothing for the power sector during our tenure. And then he said, see below, letter to the press dated May 27, 2021. Further, I say not. So I'm now going to share the content of that letter so you can understand. Dear editor, what plan? The PM is quoted as saying the new for the 6.5 MW power generators currently being installed are part of the government's plan for reliable electricity, quote and unquote. Hogwash. What plan? He went on to say, like every other sector in the country, there were no plans pre-2015, which is a fact. Absolutely nothing. Our electricity sector was on the verge of collapse by 2015. Thank God the coalition stepped in. It was barely being powered by generating sets, some over 35 years old, which of course led to the complete unreliability of the system. The coalition administration spent the next 5 years from 2015 systematically rebuilding and improving the power sector using clear and workable solutions. Went on, in 5 years under the coalition administration, 9 new, I want you to listen to me carefully, 9 new generating sets totaling 63 megawatts were purchased. Anna Regina, 5.4 MW. Baltica got 3.4 MW. Bellevue, 1.5 MW. Caneview, 5.5 MW. And Garden of Eden, 5 sets, 46.5 MW. In 2015, the generating capacity of GPL was listed at 120 to 125 megawatts, which means that in 5 short years, the coalition's work increased the generating capacity of the company by 50%. By 50%, kudos to the coalition government. Never in the history of the company has it enjoyed such a huge increase in generating capacity in such a short period. Moving on, even more impressive was that this increase was financed without external loans. We no borrow. Without external loans under the PPPC between 2007 and 2014, US 150 million in loans were taken on behalf of GPL. You hear the coalition in borrow? But between 2007 and 2014, they borrowed the PPPC 155 million US dollars. The entire amount was mismanaged due to a lack of vision and corruption, resulting in the broken system pre-2015. On average, US 22 million per year in loans was given to GPL. During this period, yet Our power sector was on the support. Our power sector was on life support, right? It was on life support. Oh my God. Sorry. Yeah. Life support in 2015. Not only was GPL able to increase their generating capacity by 50% in 5 years, but they started repaying the interest on these loans, right? Commencing in 2015. Kudos again to the APNU government. GPL started to repay the people of Guyana US 5 million per year towards this massive debt, and were still able to advance their work program. That's what having a sound and workable plan should be. GPL's improvement was not only limited to procurement of generators. During the same period, but the company was also able to reduce its technical and commercial line losses by 5%, which resulted in annual savings of 450 million Guyana dollars. The company also carried out an impressive maintenance program, some of which is outlined below. I want you to tune in good. Hear what the coalition did. Almost all the transmission lines over 300 km were repaired or upgraded, despite the big lie by the PPP that no maintenance work was done on the transmission lines in the last 4 years. This lie is being used as a pretext to hire foreign contractors at huge cost, thus bypassing our local contractors and in-house staff who were providing human service until 2020. Secondly, construction of 16 km of new feeder cables between Wiedenhoop and Vice land installation and upgrade of the express feeders on the Demerara-Borbis interconnected system. Thirdly, installation of a new 13.8 kV submarine cable between Wiedenhoop and Princess Street to provide redundancy due to the very poorly thought out and installed cable between Wiedenhoop and Kingston, a cable that continues, remember that submarine cable there, that continues to be damaged on a regular basis. Another point, installation of 486 km of new primary distribution lines and upgrade of 272 km of primary distribution lines. Installation of 231 km of new secondary distribution lines and upgrade of 519 km of secondary distribution lines. Replacement of 87,717 service lines. Installation of 502 new transformers and replacement of 2,292 defective transformers. During the 5-year period, GPL also gave back to the communities. The company provided power to 60 unreserved areas, benefiting 26,286 residents. This was done entirely at the expense of the company. The coalition administration removed the PPP policy of having customers in unreserved areas pay 25% of capital cost for installation of power, a hardship policy which has resumed once again. During the period under the coalition government, GPL did not only look after the small guys, but the big guys as well. Prior to 2015, GPL's license did not facilitate distributed generation. Hence, the company was legally prevented from purchasing excess generation from its customers or from commercial or industrial businesses. The coalition administration amended GPL's license, thus allowing the company to purchase excess generation from private, renewable, and non-renewable sources. Any guess who now benefits from these amendments? And what about the plans that the coalition administration left in place, which the PPPC is slavishly following, yet seeking to claim as their own? I'm winding down. The Kingdom of Norway, was so impressed with the coalition administration's energy diversification program our roadmap to transition from heavy fuel generation to 100% renewable energy. Yes, the same study that the PPP claimed to have used to justify their proposed white elephant whales gas to shore project that they're immediately committed to use some of the US $80 million previously set aside for the equally short-sighted Amila Falls Hydro to construct three by 10 megawatts solar farms. It will be interesting to see how the PPP will try to convince Norway to reallocate these funds back to the Amila Falls project, since Norway acknowledged that the coalition, I'm going to emphasize again, since Norway acknowledged that the coalition's energy plans were far superior. What they were? Far superior to anything that the PPP had conceived. The 1.5 megawatt hybrid solar power plant for Wakenham, here, this coalition. The 1 mega MW hybrid solar power plant for leg 1, coalition again, let me do the tick. The 4 megawatt solar power plant for Fort Wellington, kudos to the coalition. The 1.5 megawatt solar power plant for Baltica, kudos to the coalition. Construction of 4 new substations with associated high voltage transmission lines. All the above projects, these mini solar farms that I've just identified, Leg 1 and Wakenham, etc., all these projects have commenced. All were conceptualized by who? Not the PPPC, the coalition administration, who had a clear, a transparent, and workable plan to address the country's energy needs. As the saying goes, show me yours, and I will show you mine, quote and unquote. All the above is a small part of the coalition's plan. It's time for the PPP to reveal theirs. Yours. What? No, and then he ended by saying, asking the question, what plan? Yours faithfully, David Patterson. Things like these, they won't want you to hear. So I'm going to come and tell you the truth. I'm going to come and tell you the truth. Because for too long, we continuously burying the good that the coalition did. And believe that what this regime, whether Jack Dio, whether Afran, because just last weekend, he took to his Facebook page and blaming the blackouts were happening now. Guess who he blaming? He blaming the coalition government. And I've just identified to you a letter published 2 years ago by David Patterson, highlighting some of the achievements, some of the successes done by the coalition government. And I will continue to promote the good work of the coalition. So nobody, whether Jagdio, Ali, Mark Phillips, nobody won't twist my thoughts and twist my head further, because I know better. And if I know better, it is my duty, I am duty bound to come to you, before you, to dispel many of these lies being peddled. They just don't have a plan. You brought back a man, Bara Dindial, who the previous board, before May 2015, rejected, saying he must go because he's incompetent, as alleged. He had no vision. He had no plan for the sector. He went home after we came in. We brought a competent man, Gordon Albert, from Jamaica, who was superior, far more superior to Dindial, and who started to fix, who started to remedy the defects at GPL. When they came in August 2nd, 2020, they want Albert. They don't want people who are competent and who are transparent, who who are not corrupt to run the affairs of governance. So what they do? Get rid of Albert. Albert gone back to his homeland, Jamaica, and they bring back misfit Baradin Dial. Misfit Baradin Dial. I know that he's currently ill, but my prayers are with you, sir, and I wish you a speedy recovery. Quickly, because I know my time is winding down. My time is winding down. This whole thing quickly, and I know my competent colleague will deal with this matter, I guess, on her program tomorrow, Advancing the Cause. This thing with teachers. If and Ali meeting teachers. Now tell me, yesterday I got a call. Very good friend of mine, who's a teacher by profession for over close to 30 years. She said, Annette, I didn't understand. I prefer walk away from this system right now. Because all this government is doing is lying and deceiving us. I was like, what happened? Well, they're fan meeting with selected head teachers. And you know what they did, Annette? I said, no, I don't know what they did. You got to tell me what they did. They prepared scripts and sent it to selected teachers. So when they meet at this meeting hall, they're going to stand up and ask these questions. Now tell me, the little that I've read thus far, I just can't understand. Why would teachers who are qualified, who are brilliant people, who shape and mold this nation, who allow people to become lawyers, doctors, professionals, they mold these people, would allow politicians to control you, how you should think, what you should say. How can you say that you prefer allowance, increase in allowance, as against increase in salaries? That is not good. Have you thought out the implications this will have in the future? Because allowances don't add to your salary. So if you're expected to retire next year, January, whatever your salary is as at 31st of December 2023, this is where you're going to retire at. This is what you will retire at. And teachers and the politicians should know. The competent, the legal body to represent you is the Guyana Teachers Union. But you know what? This government don't want to consult with the Teachers Union because I guess a Coretta MacDonald, who happens to be the General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union, is a member of a member of Parliament on the coalition benches. Now tell me this. You got a man, Mr. Singh, Mr. Singh, or Narayan Singh, I think is his name, or is Narayan, something like that, who is now Gahu's president. How he took over from the late Komal Chan. He is sitting in the National Assembly. He sits in the National Assembly. So I guess anything to do with sugar workers and all kinds, they got to consult with Mr. C. Paul. Yeah, that's his name, Mr. C. Paul. But why is it that you're not consulting with the teacher's representative? Ali, you're disrespectful. Priya, you're disrespectful. And I heard that the minister of Labor, Mr. Joseph Hamilton, you too are disrespectful because you should know better. Way, if you want to discuss teachers' conditions, their salaries, the emoluments, the best way to go is to engage the elected bodies, which is the Guyana Teachers Union. Now I heard teachers complaining about fan, teachers complaining about water dispenser not in schools, teacher complaining about shortage of teachers. Now I got a question to ask. Why are we paying these REDOs, the regional education officers? Why, regional education district officers, I think you call them, REDOs. Why are we paying them It is their responsibility to ensure that an assessment of the schools are done. Whatever is needed for the schools is like a bottom-up approach. Whatever is needed for the schools, you have it transmitted to central, or if the region can deal with it, the region can. Why teachers here? Teachers got to go at a meeting with Mr. Irfan Ali to say, oh, we don't have water dispenser in the school. Oh, the schools are hot and we need fans. What is that? Somebody's not doing their job. Somebody is not doing their job, and they should be sent home. I visited schools in my constituency, all the schools in my constituency, I think for the exception of the nursery school. And the people complained. The people complained, HM complained, staff complained to me. You know, long, Miss Ferguson, we requisite for fans. I said, how long? Since before the school term ended last. Now they're in a new school year. Soon as you walk in the school, it's the people, because there's a terrible heat out there. There's a terrible heat out there. So the place is very, very, very hot on a daily basis. So I said, what happening? The ministry improved up to now. And we passed in excess of $100 billion for the Ministry of Education. They had 92 billion approved on February 3rd, 2023. Then just before we went into recess, they came back for an additional, I think it's 24 billion thereabout. So they already gone over the 100 billion mark. And what is happening? Priya, you need to wake up and do better. Do better. And what was done yesterday was grossly wrong. You are an attorney at law by profession, and you should know when it comes to collective bargaining agreement how things got to work out legally. But no, y'all handpick these teachers. Tell them what to ask and what not to ask and what to say and what not to say, and bring them down. Teachers, educators, I'm surprised at you. I'm surprised at you. And I'm happy that many of the other teachers stood up. The legal body to represent us at any consultation, any meeting, is the Guyana Teachers Union. And you know what? You know what? I have 2 minutes to wrap up. You know what? These very teachers, these head teachers and deputy head teachers who were at that meeting yesterday, they did not consult with the teachers in their respective schools. So unknowing to their staff, they went to advocate for who? Advocate for who? And on whose behalf? So I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters in this dear land of ours, things not regular in this land. Guyana is at a bad place, a very bad place, under the People's Progressive Party. And you will agree with me. You will agree with me. That is one man. Think he could tie up, he could twist up, he could turn up and got this country like this. People intimidated to speak. People don't want to associate with you. People who was your friend, who used to talk to you, they're fearful to speak to you now. This is what is happening in this land. And I believe, and I know for a fact, the time will come when you will silently make your decision whether you want to go forward or you want to stay backwards, or you want to see a Guyana in like what we're experiencing now. But me, I want to go backwards, and I want to see no Guyana. And I want my generations coming after me to see this Guyana here. So what I want, I'm going forward. I am going forward. So I'm saying to you, We have to hold together. We have to unite. We have to come together and fight off this vicious, this wicked People's Progressive Party Civic if we really want to see a new Guyana where all can breathe and all can live freely. With those few words being said, I want to thank you very much for joining me here this evening. And before I finally take my leave, I want to say to you Guyanese, do not fall for foolishness. Do not be fooled. We're brilliant people, we're smart people, and God gave us a brains to think. And it is our mind, it is our will that we have to start thinking deeply and analyze situations around us. So I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening. And I do look forward to you joining me next. I wouldn't have a program tomorrow because, it's back to back. So I will do tomorrow's program on Friday at 8 p.m. If there's change in the time, you will so be advised via my social media platform. I want to thank you very much for the time spent with me. May God continue to bless you. May God continue to shower his blessings upon your family. And may God continue to bless this beautiful nation of ours, which he has given unto us, Guyana. Tata, do enjoy the remaining of your week.